we're the K3. I'm Jen.
I'm Karen.
I'm Marisa.
And this is our weekly watch list, where we watch as many K-dramas as we can in 1 week, and then we come back to you and tell you which ones we're liking, loving, and sometimes dropping.
Subscribe to us here on YouTube so you can catch our weekly watch list, but also for the many other things we bring you.
Yes, did you take a listen to our podcast?
Oh, so
we did
fun.
a podcast that was sponsored by our coffee buyers, and that sounds like, you know, we turned into an actual coffee house.
Delicious.
That would be awesome.
I know, right?
I love that.
You can buy us a virtual cup of coffee at the link below, and this month we did a podcast on weightlifting fairy Kim Bok-ju, so look for that.
Fun. Yes.
But we also do a weekly news and gossip segment on Wednesdays, a little news shot. We have lots of good stuff for you.
We have a lot of good stuff coming up. But this week, ladies, we had shows.
We had some shows.
We had some shows endings. We had some shows beginning. We have all sorts of things to talk about. So let's get to it.
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday, people, item.
That's you.
That's it. I know. I'm like, that's really about it.
Yep, still on hold.
Item is still, you know, it has become that show that I don't need to watch it, but every time I'm like, I need to watch, I'm gonna watch something. I'm like, hey, I haven't watched Item yet. Awesome, and I'm actually pretty happy about it because we're now slowly starting to realize what happened, and the young niece who is Shinrina, she's now
magical mystical land.
She's in Dream World, and now all of the kids who died in Dream World are now helping her, and they're showing her what happened. So we're getting backstory.
Wow.
So yeah, Item. Oddly satisfying.
Oh, good.
Not
good to hear.
It is not going to be a show that I'm going to be like, oh, you need to sit down and watch this. But, you know, on a Monday, Tuesday, after Radiant, it was lovely
when you're
to
done watching the shows you really want to watch and you have some time.
It was a lovely, and I don't want to say palate cleanser as if Radiant was bad, but Radiant was heavy.
Oh,
we're going to get to that in a second. But Item was a nice, easy, fun watch, and that's really what I can say.
Good.
I mean, our bad guy is bad, right? And so I mean, it's that. I mean, you know, and we got some new characters that are kind of showing some spunk that I'm enjoying, and we're learning more about the items, and so it's satisfying. So yeah, it's been fun.
All right. How far? I feel like it's getting close to the end.
I have lost count. But I feel like we've got 2 or 4 more episodes. I want to say at least.
I feel like 4.
I want to say 4. I think we've got like 4 left.
So
yeah.
2 more weeks,
so 2 more weeks, which is perfect. We're like right at that cusp where I think it is. The pacing, shockingly, actually pretty good.
Okay.
So yeah, Item. It's decent. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's a wacky little show. It's brought me more joy than I expected. But really, the only show really worth talking about is Light in Your Eyes / Radiant, or Radiant / Light in Your Eyes.
I'm not even watching, and I'm so excited to hear what happened. Go.
I don't.
You have to start over, though.
Yeah.
Because they pulled the thread, the biggest thread of them all.
They really did. I will say this.
So she has Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Right.
So nothing was real.
Nothing was real.
Right.
Nothing was real. 10 episodes was not real. There was nothing in there that was real. Except the father really did.
Oh my gosh.
And I will say
it went even further with the nothing was real thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was. She was an Alzheimer's patient who was superimposing things from her life into this narrative that she created a story, and that was what we got for 10 episodes. And there were factual pieces to the 10 episodes, but none of it was real.
No, because I went back to and rewatched episodes 1 and 2, trying to figure out if she just conflated different people and stories, but it's really...
It's murky.
It's murky.
It's murky.
So it's really...
So it seems like it was all... She imagined it all.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this.
So
it was beautifully done.
Yeah.
It was stunningly done.
I don't know what to think.
Yeah, and that's really where I get confused. Because I felt very attached to the characters you'd introduced me to for 10 episodes. I needed to see Nam Joon-hyuk's character, Juna, go see the Northern Lights. I needed our young Kim Hae-ja to find him again. I needed them to do that rescue. They were
so moving, these stories, but they wouldn't, there was no resolution because they weren't real. And it was so emotional, especially Nam Joon-hyuk's story, you know, with his father, his grandmother, his con artist job. But none of it. It was all fog.
But I was even confused when we went to the real story where they had the young son and his father showed up. I was confused for a minute because I was like, wait a second. Yeah. Oh, right. His dad is a bad guy.
Yes.
So that was true, but not
as
that bad. Yeah. So it was murky.
And then I mean, it was fun, being back in 1970 with her friends.
But I had no attachment to them.
No attachment to them. They were completely different people.
Completely.
And then I did not understand why she treated her son so badly. That was completely out of character.
It was.
And they didn't explain. They didn't offer any kind of bone to explain that.
Just that she thought her life had been blighted, full of blight. But it didn't explain because she was never that mean. No. And so her son is the one attachment to her dead husband, and she treats him so badly.
So badly.
And especially after he loses his leg, she treats him even worse. I did not understand that at all.
There were a lot of moments where I was like, maybe if we had revealed this sooner, we could have spent more time with how she had superimposed these people into it. And again, beautifully done. Kim Hae-ja did an amazing job with it, and I found myself getting choked up only because it was just such a sad story.
Yes.
Not because I was attached to any characters per se. And it was a beautiful message at the end, which is live your life to the fullest at all times. But I feel like we could have gotten there with the story we had set up for the first 10 episodes without making it as tragic as it really. I mean, and again, people loved it, and we all loved it, and everyone on Twitter is amazing. And Kim Hae-ja for every word, like all of them. And because her ability to play the 25-year-old version of her, and then seeing the other side of it when she's brilliant. She's just brilliant. So good. So I think that's why it was, I don't know if I'm disappointed or
I know, I'm a little flummoxed.
That is a perfect word for it.
I don't actually know how to feel about it because it was so beautiful, but then the first story we were watching ended, and then the pacing for the last few was a little off.
Because they crammed so much back data that we needed to now know.
But then they spent so much time walking through the park and just, the courtship, and then he was a different character.
Yes.
He was actually her husband. And then I was like, am I asking too many questions? Am I trying to dissect this too much? Am I trying to make too much sense? Because it was moving.
It sounded like it was an intelligent enough show where you could ask those questions.
My question was, they never really explained why he was taken away and was beaten to death in prison because sure. Okay, great.
And then
I mean, it does, but they gave us no information on it.
No.
And we understood, you understand now why.
I think there's some historical stuff happening here in the 70s that we are not, we don't understand.
Absolutely, but I still feel like you could have given us, even if you gave us 3 episodes to maybe fill in some of those pieces, I would have been much more attached to what was happening. But it was just, the final 2 episodes was just so...
I know. I was thinking about how it could have been just a little better, and I think if they had gotten to the Alzheimer a little sooner, been a little more clever with how her memories were mixed up, and who the people were. There wasn't. I mean, it was satisfying in that you saw them in her present life, who they were, but I think they could have been a little more clever with how they were portrayed in her false memories. So
it's a tough one because it was beautiful and I loved it and I loved both parts of it.
Oh, riveted till the very end.
Till the very end.
Sure.
They didn't seem to match.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's not because I get it. She had Alzheimer's, so none of that was real. It's just that I was really attached to those characters in the first 10 episodes. I want to know what happens. I want the brother to succeed on his wacky internet, thing. And he was just such a great character that I wanted to see more of him. And seeing him as her grandson, it was fascinating to me watching Son Ho-jun. You could just see a shift in personality. Like, he's a really good actor.
He is.
He's a really good actor.
And why is he not talking to his mother? We don't know.
We don't know. Again, he's wildly successful doing what he does online. So he still does the same stuff. But so it was that.
We have questions.
We have so many questions.
I know, and it was so good. And we loved it.
So they're quibbles. They're quibbles.
They're quibbles.
But Yeah.
Sounds like a very confusing ending.
It was.
It was.
For me, anyway.
I had to watch it. I don't know. I feel like I need to watch it again.
Right?
Yeah.
But it was beautiful. It was so well done. I mean, I will, keep an eye on everyone in this entire production.
Yes.
But we had mentioned this before we started shooting. I feel like the story that was being told, it was a very personal story for the writer. Mm-hmm. It seemed like a very personal story, especially those last 2 episodes. It seemed very real. And it was very touching and very sad, but very beautiful and very moving. And I felt like that was the story the writer really wanted to tell, but didn't want to give that game away too soon because they didn't know they could maintain that for 12 episodes.
Right.
And so this was their device to get you there.
Yeah. Because there is, there's the craft of storytelling, of this 12 episodes of this drama, but then there's also something that feels real and personal about it, and maybe it's just that you can't explain it, and that's what's so frustrating.
And maybe that's what it is.
For
maybe
those of us, those in the family who are not, who are trying to make sense of what their grandmother is going through. So maybe that's the point.
Right. Still, yeah. That was really my only gripe. I was just really, really attached to those characters in the first 10 episodes.
Yeah.
But still, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story. It was so good and so amazing. And I cannot wait to see all of these people again very soon. Oh, it's so beautiful. All right, Monday, Tuesday.
Radiant.
Wednesday, Thursday, people. We have some new entries.
We do.
But before we get to new entries, let's go with our old ones. That's so dramatic. I was such a dramatic entry on Wednesday, Thursday. All right, ladies, big issue. I didn't watch any of it this week.
I watched a little bit of Big Issue.
And?
It was right at the part where he's taking the memory card out of him, which you guys had talked about.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like,
Squish, squish.
So
it's dedicated.
So it's on the local broadcast station here in Los Angeles. So it's a couple episodes behind what's streaming.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, well, it's on. I'll just have it on the background while I'm doing other work. So I kept glancing over my shoulder, kind of taking it in, getting a sense of the tone of the show. And I turned back, and he's got a stapler in her office, like he had just taken the. And at first, I thought he was stapling his skin back together. And I texted these guys. I'm like, oh my God, is he stapling? And Maurice's like, no, I think it's just his pants.
I mean, he might have stapled his skin, and
He might have.
I feel like he had to reattach something to that wound as he just dug. Anyway, gross. What happened this week, Marisa?
So now we're getting into these paparazzi stories.
Yes.
There's an idol
I need
who's
that.
faking a hereditary illness, so to get out of the military.
Oh.
But they're playing the paparazzi, so there's lots of our guy, like scaling elevator shafts.
Oh my God.
And,
Well, I love the fact that he had to train it was last week's episode, but that he had to train hard on the climbing wall at the rehab center so he could get over to get the shot.
His job as a
but he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that's why. She just Hanya Sol. Oh, I love her.
She's kind of amazing.
She's like.
I like her.
There's one place you can get that shot.
Yeah.
At the top of the climbing wall.
But he was training to get over that climbing wall aggressively. So I feel like
he must have.
I feel like she said to him that I need you to be able to get there now. And then when she called him, she was like, you have no more time to train.
Yeah.
You need to be able to get over that wall.
I love her.
She was really amazing.
She's so good. The way she's just manipulating everyone, it's so great. But then she's kind of, you can see her smirking at her staff because, they're a little wacky.
I do kind of enjoy her staff. I want to get more into her staff. Do we get more into them this week?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay,
A little
cool.
bit. Mm-hmm. And, it's like the best, I don't know, is this common in Korea that there's bedrooms and I don't know, I guess if you work 24 hours and there's nice bedrooms and coffee room, which is handy because he has no home, right?
Do you remember?
Is that where he's living now at the office?
Pretty much, but there's bunk beds and stuff. It's like a.
You guys remember Jealousy Incarnate when they worked at the news station?
Yes,
and
and
they
did have the sleeping.
so you could sleep on it if you needed to.
So it's probably that 24-hour news cycle
terrible.
kind of a
You
thing.
not allowed to
That
go
sounds
home.
awful. All right, so you're still enjoying it?
Oh, I'm totally enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's fun, but because she's so cold.
Oh, she really is.
and she's in control. I love her. There's such a great balance for the the wacky hijinks. And there's so much at stake to get this one photo.
I really do appreciate it. It's amazing.
I don't know that I'm going to continue in a serious attention way on the show. I might put it on in the background.
I definitely want to jump back in, but it was, this week, unfortunately, a little wacky. It was a little tough for me this week, but because we had some new entries, but we're not there yet. Because we still have to get our update on Touch Your Heart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Touch Your Heart. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I was ready for the show to just kind of tank and become just a bunch of like filler fluff, kind of like What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. However, I think the show has finally found its groove. I mean, it was solid last week, and I feel like it was solid. Yes, I feel like it was solid this week. Did you hear on any of the social medias? They brought back the murder case from the first part of the show. Oh. The one where the woman was being abused and the developmentally disabled man who has a kind of crush on her. Yeah. They brought that storyline back. Was not expecting that. Was not expecting that. And why? Because his mom, the one who ran the shop that he would do deliveries for, came barging into the law firm demanding to see our lawyer.
Nice!
And she's like, why did no one ever listen to my son? He said he only stabbed him once, not twice. And so then, of course, lawyer Kwan is like, he's in a moral crisis. Of course. And of course, he just broke up with our beautiful lady the week before. So, could life get any worse? I don't know. So he's like, well, I have to take the case because it's the justice thing, in support of justice. And his boss is looking at him like, you defended her by bringing him in to blame him for the crime. How's this going to work out?
I think there's a conflict of interest there.
That's exactly what the CEO said. But our lawyer cited some statute about if it's in, sure exists.
For sure.
Don't ask too many questions. Okay. It's that kind of show. Don't ask questions. Well, if it's for the public welfare, then the conflict of interest is, you can set that aside. So he decides to represent him in his upcoming trial. So it turns out that our woman who was being beaten by her husband and, he defended her. Nope, that was all a setup. That was all. She manipulated the whole thing for the insurance money. She ran off with her ex-husband who was supposed to be dead, burned in a fire. No,
oh my gosh.
No, it was actually her dad who burned in the fire. And they said it was her ex-husband.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I was going to say, because at first when I saw they brought the storyline back, I'm like, are we going to kind of get some? I'm like, nope.
I'm not sure I appreciate that resolution either.
I'm not sure at all. Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Oh, Touch Your Heart. I was almost back in when I was watching.
Going now?
So he successfully defended our young man with the crush on this woman who did only stab, and it was not a fatal wound. It was not the fatal wound. So it's just kind of like, so now and then put her back in jail because she actually did not only commit.
I don't think you can. I think it's called double jeopardy.
It was for the murder of her father, which apparently
that's different.
She did.
That's not double jeopardy.
And then and her part in planning and plotting the murder of her.
And where's you in all this?
Okay, so she's of course watching all the news coverage of her lawyer love being lambasted by the media, but this
right here is why I dropped the show.
She's like, how can I help? Because he broke up with me and he doesn't love me anymore, and but she went to the office and put together, like when he wasn't there, put together all of the information he needed.
A fruit basket?
No, she did some legal work for him. And
because her 2 months of training in legalese.
And her 1 year in law school. Which
I forgot. Oh, right. She did have a year in law school.
Ace paralegal all of a sudden.
Whew. All right.
Again, let's not talk about forensic science. Let's not talk about statute of limitations. Let's not talk about it.
Karen, we quibbled about Radiant. Do you think we're not quibbling about Touch Your Heart and the massive plot holes that are here?
Touch Your Heart. Don't ask questions. Don't ask, because why? Because at the end of 2 hours, you're going to be feeling good again.
Okay.
So he's back now. Of course, the media loves him, and he's a superstar who saved the day. And she has come back. She's approached him, and of course, her manager lets her know he didn't break up with you because he doesn't love you. He did it for your career, and because I had a talk with him. And she's like,
how would it hurt her career?
He still loves me. Right? Yeah. No, I know exactly, because media attention, scandal, right? But she tracks him down and invites him for meals and kind of is like, hey. And he's like, why do you keep showing up in front of me? Because we broke up. And she finally confronts him. She's like, I know you didn't break up with me because you don't like me. So she's like, why don't I decide whether this is going to be harmful to my career? I'm like, yes, exactly. She's like, I know you did it for me. If you're going to do it for me, why don't you stand by my side and be my boyfriend? I'm like, right? Noble idiocy.
Wow, how many more episodes is this?
Just 2. We're almost done.
Okay, thank God, because I can't with this anymore.
My point is,
there's a point. This show has no point. There's no point to the show.
Did he win the day in court again for somebody else for the same thing? Anyway, too many questions. He tells her he loves her, and they have a nice little kiss in the street right at the end.
Like, oh, thank God.
I was not expecting that.
Was it at a Subway?
All right.
Nope.
Oh, damn it.
And I bet she had great accessories because she looks beautiful in this.
She really
does.
High
heels. She still has
wardrobe. It's gorgeous.
Anyway.
All right, so is that it? Are we good?
Great.
We covered Touch Your Heart.
I think I covered it a little too much. Let's carry on. I'm liking it.
We can tell.
Don't ask
That's
questions.
awesome. Don't ask questions.
Have you met questions?
In a course of a year, Karen, have you met us yet? I have questions about everything. Are you kidding me? You cannot give me. You cannot
give me the complete synopsis.
You cannot give me that kind of. You cannot give me that kind of a synopsis and not expect me to ask questions.
You can totally edit that down.
No, they're getting all of that. They're getting every minute of that. Absolutely. Because I have questions, people, and you're lucky there's only 2 more episodes left. Because I'm going to go on a Touch Your Heart screen.
I better be really prepared next week and keep it under 2 minutes.
All right. So that was Touch Your Heart.
Thanks. Go.
We did have a new show this week, and that was Dr. Prisoner. Okay.
Let's talk about this. I watched it an hour.
Please. He's the greatest anti-hero ever. Yes. I have never watched any of his evil turns yet. I haven't yet. Oh. So I've only seen him from
Chief Kim,
but my first experience with Nam Goong-min was, I think, in a show with you and where she was ran a hotel. Is it her? Anyway, he was the second lead. And I realized very quickly that I needed him to be the first lead. So I couldn't even finish the show. But he was kind of that, gruff character, so it wasn't quite evil. But that was my first experience with him. And I haven't seen that character until now, and I'm so happy. Dr. Prisoner, the most
Yes.
We did wait, I cannot say the most absurd because we did live through Last Empress. But one of the most absurd first half hours I've ever watched.
Oh yeah. We have so many of them right now. This, Big Issue, Legal High, Fiery Priest.
But I'm sorry, but none of them have some obnoxious chaebol busting into the middle of brain surgery.
The most obnoxious chaebol I've ever seen, and we've seen a few.
We've seen a few. But he walked into a brain surgery and made the doctor stop and have a conversation. What?
Because his sister is the model for their conglomerate, and she's got a cut on her forehead. I'm just like, how out of touch with reality are these people?
Right. That part, I could almost understand. The fact that Nam Goong-min stopped the surgery with a catheter, was it in her brain at this point? I don't know if we've quite inserted the catheter.
But the
I know
fact
we were going there.
Part of her brain was
wide open. To stop and even take the 5 minutes to chastise him. I was like, what is happening right now?
I'm like, how are you even opening the door to let more germs in?
It was fantastic.
Sterile environment.
So I was a little concerned after that first half hour. And then I started watching the second half hour, and then the third and fourth, and I love it. I love it so much.
I haven't seen the third
I love it so much. He's so ridiculous in his need for revenge. And not in a ridiculous in a bad way, but it's all, so many. Marisa, I can't believe you don't love this. This is Machinations. Machinations compiled by Machinations. This is a Machinations festival.
I went from episode 1 to episode 4 because the whole cabal, the whole, the couple dying. I'm like, I could not deal with it at the moment, but I kind of want to get into the prison.
Yeah.
And the psychiatrist.
Oh, yeah.
They're making, eyes at each other. And I love him when he is morally conflicted.
Oh, it's so amazing.
Yes.
And I have to say,
because you saw because he's not straight up evil.
No.
But he certainly has.
He was in Remember, where he was straight up evil.
I've heard about that one, but I've never watched it.
I would not recommend it, actually. But he was
a little too disturbing, little too
Oh yeah, he went full throttle on that one. But this one, there's fun in it because
it's so delicious.
He's playing with people. Yeah. Oh, I like that.
I loved it. You didn't watch it because I don't know if they showed it in the beginning of episode 4, but when he was standing over the Che ball and he was like, I've changed my mind. I was like, oh, I love it. I love it. He's like, I'm not going to operate on you. It was so delicious. Did you not see that in the beginning of episode 4? I did not. So he walks in at the end of episode 3 to do the surgery. On the obnoxious Che-ball kid, because he played the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And he walks in and he starts talking to the kid about did you see it? Did they show that in the beginning of episode 4? And then he goes, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to operate on you. And he lets him flatline, and then he starts operating. It was so good.
Oh my god!
Isn't like half the cast of Sky Castle in this?
Yeah. And I'm gonna say
they're all so manipulative.
I have to say, Kim Pyun-chul. I've seen him obviously in pieces here and there,
many things.
But it's so. I'm enjoying him in this because I don't think I've ever seen him. I haven't watched Sky Castle yet. I don't think I've seen him in a modern, like a present time. I think everything I've watched him in, he was
Descendants of the Sun.
Right. That's right. I always forget that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He's always been.
Then I watched him in Goblin, and then he was in Mr. Sunshine. So there's always kind of that historical, something.
He was in Goblin. Yeah. That's right.
I forgot that he was.
And so I'm really enjoying the back and forth between him and Kim Namgoong Min. There's Kim and Namgoong Min. So I'm really enjoying that kind of back and forth and like them both.
I've only seen a second of them so far because I only watched the first hour. So.
I love the fact that they're both like picking sides of which piece of corruption they're gonna back, and then see which piece of corruption is gonna get them to where they want to go. It's kind of juicy and ugly.
Oh
I
yeah,
love it.
Are they in conflict, or do you think they're gonna?
Oh, they're total conflict.
Okay. It's all conflict.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't join forces like by episode 15.
That's what I'm wondering if we're headed in that direction.
I could see it.
That could be very interesting.
Yeah,
if it mutually benefits both of them, I guess.
It's juicy.
Oh, it's juicy. So,
I'm excited. I mean, I'm like medical revenge. I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen the two of those together. So I'm in.
All in. All in. Okay. Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just a quick update. We are shooting this on a Friday night because of scheduling. So
we haven't watched anything.
We haven't watched anything. And sadly, the biggest one that's happening this week that we did not get a chance to even look at is Kill It. Kill It is premiering this weekend. We still don't have any access to it. No, you got to go to an off-site site because we're still waiting on word on that. But that one, and then I think it's called Confession.
I think.
Confession with.
Is that the one on Netflix?
I think they're going to try and get it on Netflix. I don't think it's officially on Netflix.
But I don't think I've seen it yet.
So we got to figure that out.
Have you seen it? Maybe
help
by
us
the time,
out on that.
Maybe by the time you're watching this, it will.
Yes. Let us know. Hopefully by then, Twitter will be a Twitter with where we can watch these things. But just know that's why we're not talking about them now. We have no idea. But with that being said, we did watch Fiery Priest, ladies.
Fiery Priest.
I'm not all the way caught up yet, so I'm just kind of moving along as I can. But
it's just, it's getting ridiculous. Yeah. I guess plot, who cares? But
let go of it.
Yeah. He's so awesome. Like, I noticed his black overcoat, they did a higher split in the back so that when he's walking in slow-mo, it's got that kind of,
I do love his slow-mo.
It's so good.
Like the Goblin Tunnel Walk.
Yes, exactly. It's like flying behind him. It's
oh my gosh, it's so great.
So great.
But Honey Lee and what's our thug's name? Go-Jun.
Oh, Go-Jun.
They're kind of going at it a little bit. That was fun to watch.
Nice.
That was fun to watch. She's hilarious.
She is. I really like her a lot.
Physical comedy.
So deadpan.
Yeah, and she's got bad stomach problems, and she's just playing with that so much. It's really fun, really fun. And I don't know. I mean,
I did get to a point where so shortly. This is how far behind I am, but where he went out for drinks with a detective once the case was reopened, and you saw him completely drunk, which you'd seen him drunk before, but this time he had like this teddy bear sweetness come out.
Aww.
And I was just like, oh, what they say about when you're drunk, your true nature comes out. I'm like, oh, is this his true nature? He's just a big old softy, probably, who's been hurt way too many times.
Aren't they all?
Yes.
Well, yeah. Kind of explains why he has anger issues. I assume he still has anger issues.
Of course.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And now he's injured, and they played with that a little bit.
Did they?
Because,
Okay.
yeah, his wrist
real
is
life
wrapped up.
injuries?
Yeah, his wrist is wrapped up, and his ribs are wrapped, and he makes, like, I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm not healing the way I used to.
Oh.
So they put a stunt double on a motorcycle, but there were some really great shots of him.
Oh, that's amazing. Was that the one, the leather jacket that I saw?
Yeah. Ooh, this show is so much fun. It's just stupid fun. I love it.
Excellent. My stupid fun is Legal High.
Legal High.
Yes.
So much fun.
So much fun.
Love it.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm ready for them to kind of get to where they're going. I did finally write down his name. Alfred's name is Lee Soon Jae. He's amazing, and I love him.
The man of all trades.
The man of all trades. He's fantastic, and I love him.
He's good.
Oh, he's probably my favorite character, second to Jingu. Really enjoyed it this week. Our band of lawyers that are all competing against each other have found yet another way to compete. Because we got Yoon Park is now a prosecutor because he decided that he
changed sides?
He did. He decided he no longer could do the best. He could no longer Let me try this again concisely. His whole thing was like, I can't beat you playing your game about Jingu's character. He's like, and that doesn't make me happy. It doesn't satisfy me. I feel gross and dirty and icky. So he went to the other side because he would rather prosecute than that. So I'm really curious to see where that goes. So yeah, it was kind of interesting. And he's still kind of there's a couple of longing looks with him and our girl. So I'm kind of hoping that kind of gets a little bit of traction by the time it's over because obviously he really digs her. And we have found out that the young ghost girl
That's right.
Yes. She
because
is,
of course.
It was one of the big cases that he was doing for B&G, which is the law firm that he's always battling. And she died from a water contamination situation, and he was attempting to help all the people through B&G, but because of their what do you call it? Like their corporate client that was the reason for the poisoning, and so and so she died, and he was heartbroken because she had really taken a shine to him as coming in and visiting. And so there was a lot of like pieces of that, like so all the little pieces of the puzzle are starting to finally fall into place. And it's a really satisfying show. I'm not gonna lie though, and we were talking about this before we started shooting, I end up watching it right after we're done shooting like the episode for last week. So by the time we get to the following week, I've forgotten.
You're like, what happened?
I know, because there's that whole cable storyline.
Oh, and that's all. Yeah,
his father, and then the lawyer professor that our girl is.
The lawyer professor storyline. I'm intrigued by. You get a little bit more. Oh, because our main CEO of B&G gets ousted.
Oh, he does?
Yes, he gets ousted,
at
right?
the other law firm.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm only one behind. I think a lot happened in this one.
A lot happened. And our judge benefactor lady is now the CEO of that law firm. Because she was the judge in the pocket of the corporation.
Oh, so she changed sides the other way.
Oh, yeah. She's just
law firm.
bad. She's bad.
Is she?
Ooh, yeah.
Interesting.
So I think
how much more? 1 more week? 2 more weeks?
I think we got 2 more weeks.
Okay.
I feel like it's 2 more weeks. Maybe I'm
not
completely wrong. I'm a little off. I'm a little off on that. But I do think
I didn't mean to make you do K-drama math. I'm sorry.
A lot of K-drama math. But I think we got at least. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't know. But what we do know is that Romance is a Bonus Book wrapped it up this week.
It did.
Wrapped up.
Karen, what do you think?
I never watched it.
You never watched it.
You didn't finish it.
I kept meaning to, and it never happened.
That's a sign.
So
let's see if I can be a little more concise with my final thoughts on Romance as a Bonus Book.
Let's go with this.
Yes.
What are your thoughts? What are your feelings when it ended and the credits rolled?
It wrapped everything up with a nice, pretty bow.
Were you happy with it? Or were you satisfied?
Mostly satisfied.
Okay.
I'll say mostly. I didn't care actually as much about their romance, our lead couple's romance by the end of it, but I enjoyed the wrap up to all of the other storylines.
Nice.
Was anything missing for you?
there was one mention about her daughter. Like, well, what happens when because she's looking for a new apartment. And he's like, why are you looking for a new apartment without me? Because I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I'm like, have we had a conversation about this before that I missed? No. He was having it right then. She's like, well, what about when my daughter graduates? He's like, well, let's worry about that then, which is like apparently a few years off. So you don't have to worry about the daughter right now.
Yeah, she's like 12 or something.
She's still at boarding school and will be,
Does she not come home for summers? I'm sorry, I asked questions.
I'm with you this time on the questions. This is a show where you can ask questions. So yeah, it was kind of, it's like not one I need to go back and watch.
I feel the same way that I do, it ended, it wrapped up everyone's storylines. Would I go back and watch it? No.
Okay.
But I thought about it and I was like, wow, I wish they would go back and look at episode 1 and remember what they had set up, who these characters were, what made them different, maybe understand the things that intrigued us. Because they kind of didn't really address it by the end.
No, I agree with you. Yeah. And we talked about that last week about how we want to see how Kangani's story wraps up, and it really.
It didn't. It didn't.
It just.
Where did she end up?
Did.
I mean, it did, but
she got hired back to the company. Oh, so she won the contest even after she resigned.
Yes.
And they found a HR policy that would allow them to hire her, and then a throwaway line at a luncheon at the local barbecue restaurant and now we're going to have blind hiring practices. Yeah. I'm like, is that it? Is that the big revolution?
Woo! Viva la
revolution! The hiring revolution.
And everybody paired off, and it was great.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Yep. But I agree with you. I had that. I had similar thoughts. I was reflecting back on that first episode. I'm like, that first episode was a completely different show than where we were.
I mean, even I enjoyed the first episode, and I was like, oh, that was a lot of fun. I dig that. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
It was fine.
It was fine. Strong like light love, maybe. Love only out of loyalty.
It was fine.
Yeah.
We need a new symbol for just fine.
Fine.
It's fine. Help us find that. Let us know what our fine symbol should be.
Maybe not like a smile, kind of more like a...
All right, I'll go look for that. Oh my God. Okay. That's our week, ladies.
Did we make it through?
We made it through. God.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. We're the K3. I'm Jen.
I'm Karen.
I'm Marisa. Continue the conversation with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to those who have. Leave us a comment below. Come join our K-drama copy klatch. See you soon. Bye.